Live from Spare Bedroom Studios, you are listening to Under PDT.
Thanks, guys, for checking out today's Under PDT. On this episode, we're going to do our long short of the week, even though I'm not sure if we did one already for this week. We can't keep track of anything. We have a whole new segment called Guess the Furu, where I will be interviewing the Furu, and we'll see if you can guess who he is or who she is. We don't even know if it's male or female. And
gender neutral.
It's gender's a spectrum when you're talking about Furus, okay? And we are also going to talk about some of our trades and what the hell is going on in this market debacle. SPY down 3% at close today, but a bunch of earnings might save the day. But before we do any of that, let's get our Thirsty Thursday plug. So, Wes, I view Thirsty Thursday as a time where you and I scrutinize ourselves, put the microscope on ourselves, because we're always sort of talking at newer traders. We have some drinks to cope with it all, and we kind of talk to the audience about what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and to compound it all, we're going to have JM on, who's a very good trader, to kind of up the competition a little bit, make sure we have good people on sharing what's going on in their trading.
I need to get berated by JM on this podcast, so I'm looking forward to that. Just hopefully it happens. Hopefully I can make enough mistakes next week to get some strong hatred from him.
We have a goal then. We have a mutual goal. We need to make him feel comfortable enough between now and next Thursday so that when he comes on, he can just straight up be all right with making us feel like shit about everything we do.
We need to send him an edible arrangement every day until next Thursday.
Whatever works for him, right? Maybe we'll really piss him off ahead of time. Like, when they have bullfights, they have to piss off the bull ahead of time. We'll just send him like a bunch of tweets about VWAP.
Ooh.
Pretty good idea.
Ooh, what if we could get the sexy sax man to go follow him around and just yell VWAP?
That
while he's at the gym.
There used to be this like really stupid business that could send glitter bombs to people, and you'd open a package and your whole room would be filled with glitter and like, oh, haha, you glittered me. There should be a trader version where just some like fat dude shows up at your door and starts screaming VWAP. I don't think my business idea would take off. I don't think I have a future as an entrepreneur, but to me it sounded good.
Depending on the fee, I would think about it.
Okay, sounds good. Well, let's get to our long and short of the week. What do you got?
Man, I am long probiotics. Actually got to go out to dinner for my 1-year anniversary Sunday night. And on top of that, I had some great seats for the Monday Night Football game, Giants-Falcons. My wife is a huge Giants fan, being from North Jersey. And I got so sick from the food poisoning I received at St. Cecilia in Buckhead, Atlanta, that I fell ill and wasn't able to go to the game. So I am long probiotics to keep that gut strong, and don't let the food poisoning get to you if you can help it.
So St. Cecilia, you will not be a friend of the podcast. You cannot buy sponsorship on here. Don't go there if you're in the area.
No, don't go.
Good silver lining of all that, you didn't have Booger McFarland's tennis umpire chair blocking your view of the field.
Man, I would be so chapped. I mean, my seats would have been in the line of that.
No, seriously?
I asked, oh yeah, seventh row. And so I asked Brittany, I was like, did you see that stupid cart going around? I would start throwing stuff at it. Because at that point, I was like, what do I have to lose? I'm going to get kicked out of the game. Who cares? Get out of my way.
That would have been great marketing for Under PDT if, like, you were on TV being arrested for accosting Booger, who is, by the way, the Monday Night Football announcing team is the worst ever. But that's another subject. If you got arrested for that and I was just tweeting out in live time, like, look, it's Wes, guys, I think we would up our viewership like 10 times.
But I mean, what you do in that circumstance, you don't just launch something at the screen. And what's better is they actually have a TV screen on the back of that thing.
I know, I saw that.
So they like to tell you that you're not missing action. You could be at home on your couch watching the same feed, but you paid good money to come here. I would take a bottle and have it loosely screwed on and try to toss it over the screen to where it could land on him and bust all over him, Like, seriously, get out of my way. I'm not trying to rock you. I'm trying to just get you wet now.
I'm just trying to get you wet so you get the message, because next time I'm going to rock you.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, we're banned from NFL stadiums for life.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. What do you got for short?
Short housing. The housing report today for new home sales was terrible. It was down 5.5%. I think projection was negative 0.6%. So bad news for housing. I've been saying this for years now, and I just don't see how any increase in the housing prices, the way they're going, how it's sustainable. We're already seeing cracks in different parts of the country. The South, in my opinion, is the strongest housing market for multiple reasons. Economically, you've got a lot of retirees relocating, but there are starting to be some real cracks in housing. Seen that in automobiles as well, but I don't think housing stays on this hot track where it's at right now. It has been just a seller's market. And as soon as the prices start to go down just a little bit, every realtor is going to tell you it's a buyer's market. But what does a realtor really know? Zero.
Yeah, I don't think realtors are like keeping up to date with the dot plot from the Fed and being like, well, this can affect how my mortgages are being written, and in turn, I'm going to lose customers. They just say whatever they can to sell a property, which, in fairness, I would do as well. Housing is so expensive. It is true. And some areas, I mean, God, some areas they've gone up 10x. Like if the normal amount of rate, like acceleration in the country is an amount, we'll call it X. There have been some areas where it is truly on fire. It's like the stock market. Some pockets of it, tech and the stock market, are so far up, it's mind blowing. And I think we're going to see a reversion to the mean. I'll put it lightly, sugarcoat it.
Okay. All right. What do you got?
All right. I am long people who ask retail traders for advice in crashing markets, because they're about to come out in droves. They're about to see basically their 2018, it's not flat, but it's going to be coming to flattish here, particularly if this level of sell-off continues. And it's always just my favorite thing when everyone thinks you're an idiot because they're up on their, index fund positions. Then all of a sudden everyone thinks you're a genius. And I'm a perma-bull. I am a perma-bull. I suggest taking capital you don't need and being long the market long term if you're young. I'm 30 years old. I'm long the market. I think everyone in that position should be long the market. But those people love to come out of the woodworks and ask, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And all of a sudden, retail traders like us become oracles.
Yeah. Yeah. And then people back, well, this person on CNBC said, like, listen, buddy, CNBC talking heads, they get to throw at a dartboard every day and decide what they're bullish or bearish on. And then they just say it.
Yeah. And it's
a great job.
It's a great job. There's no culpability for it. It's like the land for failed fund managers, CNBC.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not really, I'm just long those people because they're going to be so prevalent. I don't actually like those people. They're just going to be so omnipresent in our lives. I had to comment on it. Short the CNBC panic segments. They haven't been that good yet. I haven't heard like markets in turmoil, time to start sharpening your bow and arrow. Like we haven't quite gotten there yet. Everyone's like, oh, it's orderly, whatever. It's, this is
that's solid. Disappointing.
That is, isn't it? Like I heard people justifying this with what's the most easy cherry pick argument? The Fed's going to raise rates. You're going to be able to get money out of debt. And like, I want more like, no, momentum is totally dead. And, the whole market was pegged to the FANG stocks going up. And now FANG's momentum's dead. The market's dead. I want that back because it makes for good viewing when you're in the lull. I don't believe in any of it, but I like it.
I like to think that my bourbon collection actually goes up in value on days like today. I like it probably doesn't, but I like to think that.
It's a very illiquid market, but it does. How's that?
Yeah. Okay.
You gotta find the right, like, if you find the right buyer, it's up there. It's almost like an OTC stock.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Yep. All right. Well, we got that out of the way. I think it's time for the segment everyone was waiting for. They made it through 9 minutes of us bullshitting. It's time for Guess That Furu. And before we start Guess That Furu, I want to make it clear that if you tweet at us, email us, text us, figure out a way to get in contact with us. If you are the first person we read and you guess the person that we're emulating, you are offered, if you have a mic, an appearance on Thirsty Thursday. And it's not like if you don't have a mic, we'll never let you on Thirsty Thursday. It only comes down to this one or never. Like, no, whenever you can make it, whenever you can get to a mic, you are offered an appearance. If not, you're just winning for bragging rights.
That's a good deal.
It is, isn't it? So
I think so.
All right. Are you ready to present the Furu?
Yeah, I think he's ready.
Okay. I'll bring him in, get him his mic. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to Cameron Moss.
How's it going, folks? Hey, This is Cam Moss with Simple Trades. I just want to tell you guys, it's going to be an easy day, okay? We're just going to buy a couple low float stocks, alert our chat room, sell into the spike, talk about a market recap, okay? It's all about the micro 15-second pullback, and then it goes into a 1-minute pullback, and then it goes into a 5-minute explosion, okay? This is how you become a millionaire, folks. It's simple. The other day, I went out to my koi pond, and I was looking at my koi fish, and this big one came up, and he said, Cam, how much money did you make today? And I said, koi fish, don't even worry about it. It's so much that I could buy all the koi in the world.
I heard you told the koi to trust the process is really what this all comes down to at the end of the day, and don't worry about the P&L. Is that true?
Well, the process has to do with continuing to get subscribers into my chat room so that I can continue to fleece them.
Well,
they have not figured out yet that when they buy, I'm selling, and it's hard for them to win.
Let me ask you this. How do you keep them solvent to continue trading? Because you have a great paradigm here.
First off, I nail them once with a steep chat fee, and then I nail them twice by emptying their trade account. And then I tell them to buy more products to be able to regrow their trading account. It's the gift that keeps on giving. God bless. God bless the koi fish.
Oh my goodness, this is really some enlightened genius stuff. So let me ask you, do you have 15-second candles on your chart?
I have 15-second candles, but I do better seeing 15-second candles when I close my eyes. When I close my eyes, it allows me to channel some other element in this universe that everything becomes clear. Or usually it's the time between when I click buy and sell. I only have to blink, and then that's really how long it takes me to make a trade for a profit.
Is there some sort of price level you like to keep an eye on, or is it all just based on like what sort of zen you felt when you woke up in the morning and which way you meditated when you were preparing for the market?
I lean more towards the zen and the current equinox of the earth. However, if someone randomly printed, let's say we have a 250 stock and 100 shares printed at 270 at 805.36, then I use that as my pre-market high, and I usually bag my subs above that level if I can get the stock there.
That is excellent. Have you ever considered being a short seller as well? You could always bag shorts too, potentially even long their shorts. Have you thought about this?
Well, people are profitable shorting. It's not for me per se. I'm just loving the amount of stupidity that I can capture on any given trade, really just based on idiots following me in. So that's all I've got there.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Moss. This was unbelievably insightful, frankly. I did not think we'd get such color commentary out of you, and your voice.
I'll be back.
Okay. Well, we'll
God,
give you
God bless. God bless the koi fish.
Yes, please tell the koi, give them our best, and tell them to follow the process.
Holy fucking shit, that guy was bonkers.
I mean, that is the Furu world, man. Well,
yeah.
That's what we got. So, listen, obviously we gave him an alias. If any of you can tell us who you believe that was and are interested in his services, please reach out to us. We know a guy.
I'm interested in his services, honestly. I love the koi fish dig.
The koi fish he sold me more on the koi fish than anything else.
Yeah.
I thought koi fish pond actually sounds peaceful. Maybe I'll just act like truly objectively when I get to trading my edges now, because I'll just relax with my koi fish. My process has been discovered.
Okay.
All right. Well, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about what we did this week and what went on in the market.
Yeah, man, I have got, I was on my deathbed Monday. Literally everything ached, and I couldn't stay out of the bathroom. So I watched a little bit Monday. Yesterday, I wanted to get in here. I wanted to buy the dip on Apple pretty bad around 214, 215, but I just still wasn't feeling that well, and I just won't trade whenever I'm feeling like that.
Right.
So, hands off. The only thing I did today was SGLB short, was able to get a few locates on it and, take it for what it was. And that's okay.
No, I think that's actually pretty good. I was telling you I was all annoyed because I couldn't locate. And I think SGLB might have been even compliments of our previous guest. But
God bless.
It was, yeah, right? I couldn't get locates in time. I was pretty frustrated. That one panned out very nicely. I thought that was a good play. I traded tops today. I shorted it. I made 10 cents on it. I sat there and watched it all day. It was uneventful, but that's trading at times. I did catch TUP. I don't know. Should I call that TUP? Like that's one of those tickers. I don't know what name to give it.
Yeah,
I did catch
Tupperware.
Tupperware. Yep. I did catch them long. Pivot like right in the 37 area. Pivot on the 20-minute. So I got that for a little over a point. That was decent. And then the rest of the day, I was really excited for beta and really didn't take much out of it, even though there was really good range in Tesla. Netflix had a good early pivot, and the market got crushed. So you had a lot of range and volatility and a lot of range to the downside and everything in beta. But I didn't really come with it today on that.
Yeah, it's days like today that I think, okay, your playbook gets put to the test. How vast is your playbook? And, something that you're not continually getting a lot of reps in when you have big volatility like this, I think it can be difficult because we've been used to small days, small market days, training charts. And this year there's been more volatility. But for me, I see, okay, my playbook's been getting put to the test. I've got some good stuff. But days like today, I guess, kind of always push me to expand my playbook, if anything.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I've been trying to make a really concerted effort to apply some of my technical premises on stocks I typically wouldn't look at as much. I got Tesla. I'm looking at Tesla after hours right now, right? I keep saying, oh, what did you do this week? It's Wednesday at 4:45 Eastern. So there's time left in the week. I got Tesla yesterday in the 260s, and I thought I fucking nailed it selling 271. 323.50 on the bid as I say this.
Those always hurt bad.
They do, and that's,
Always.
I think, actually, you know what? I think this brings up an interesting point because if you're used to trading micros, you are trading stocks that go from $1 to $25 the vast majority of the time, right? I think getting used to the level of spread in higher beta and getting used to the expected range and the appropriate size are things you really have to be cognizant of, because otherwise, your 9 points feels like a freaking home run, and really the home run is what you just watched happen a day later.
Yeah, and that's definitely it. That's what, when I was starting to trade high beta, that's what was messing with me: the spreads, the range, and I just realized, hey, they still move like any other stock. They truly do.
Yeah, I agree.
And so going into it, psyching yourself out sometimes with the spread and everything else. But again, it's all back to your risk. And that was something like today. I shorted SGLB. I made good money on it. For me, a 4-figure day, and it could be $1,000 a day. It could be $9,000 a day. But a 4-figure day every day is what I'm looking for. That's usually within my comfort level. And man, I keep hitting that every single day. I'm happy. End of the year, I'm happy. And that's plenty enough money for me. So that's one thing. I've been working on putting more size together right now. Mm-hmm. And it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But really, once you get back to it, if you're just staying in your comfort zone every day and being consistent, come on.
Yeah, I would say if you audit your comfort zone to ensure it's an appropriate level, because I think that's the biggest issue. Some people get too big too fast, and some people just never get big enough. If it's truly an appropriate level and you can handle the psychological test to increase and decrease it appropriately, you literally handled like 40% of trading right there. Mm-hmm. That's such a huge part of it. I can't tell you how many new people just size is what they totally get wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the quickest way to be out of the game.
That is the quickest way to be out, absolutely.
And that's it. Okay, so for 5 years, you're consistent and you stay in your comfortable place and you outside of trading are smart with your money. You save it, you reinvest it, and then you go grow quite the nest egg. And let's say you go from having $200,000 in trading and savings accounts up to $1 million, $2 million. Well, now you can take on some more risk and still be comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, at that point in time, I mean, let's say you're going 1% of trading capital as risk. You're really talking about and let's say you only use $500,000 of that as trading capital. You're talking about $5,000 risk. I mean, if you're averaging a 3R, you're talking about 15 grand. Money, this is a game that requires capital, but if you get on the right side of it, it will work for you in a hurry. This is a good game to be in if you're doing it right, and a terrible game to be in if you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's some words of wisdom from two guys sitting in spare bedrooms, clicking buttons. But
that's right.
Yeah, man, it was an interesting one. Should we just start opining about what's going on in the SPY and the overall market?
I mean,
we're going to.
Yeah, we are. And there's no rhyme or reason. Monday it's Italy. Today it's China. Tomorrow it's Trump eats too much McDonald's. I don't even know what's going on.
I think that's the most sane, logical way to approach it, because it's such a quick pullback, and who knows how much depth it will really have, that we don't want to get crazy saying Italy overstepping their borrowing or the Fed increasing too quick totally collapsed everything. It might just be like an ugly October, nothing more than that. But I'm here to make a splash and get us ratings. So I'm going to say that this is going to result in a huge battle between Powell and Trump over the next week and a half, and it's going to be awesome content for us.
Oh, there's no doubt in that. However, while Trump wants to blame the Fed, what we're seeing from manufacturers like Caterpillar, 3M, and some of these earnings is the tariffs are hitting them hard. I know that tariffs are hitting raw materials and steel and aluminum hard, obviously, and that's affecting trucking. So really what he's done, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario, I guess, because he wanted to hit China hard. Their market's getting rocked. As far as this trade war goes, I think right now he has the upper hand. U.S. has the upper hand. But when it starts bleeding into our EPS here in the market, well, he's going to blame the Fed, but in reality, it's going to come down to the tariffs.
Yeah, it's going – that's actually a fair point. I mean, I like that you shot your shot and put it out there. I think that's a fair point, because that is actually what can cut earnings. And what does everyone always say when something like this happens? Like, oh, check the earnings. And I'm sure everyone will piggyback Tesla doing well, even though Tesla's not exactly the beacon of financial health. They'll piggyback Microsoft doing well. You know how this game will carry on. Boeing actually legitimately had a good quarter, so they'll piggyback that doing well. But there are other players that wouldn't be a part of that momentum suite that are definitely going to face some headwinds here. And maybe, who knows, maybe that's the start of what sends the needle the other way.
Yep. And I'm still tracking freight tonnage. I think freight tonnage is a big indicator. It's something I look at.
Yeah, well, that's definitely, the domestic economy is certainly largely indicative of that. That's basically what it is. You can get a great feel for it based off that. I will say we have a mutual friend who hopefully will be on here sooner than later, that is a debt trader, who always does tell us, it's just as below the level you'd want it to be as it was in 2008, 2009, in terms of collateralized mortgage obligations and how debt is packaged, repackaged, and resold, and all sorts of crazy derivatives. So don't count out Wall Street totally screwing this up as well.
Yeah. Apparently nothing has changed.
No, I mean, why would it? You could still get a bonus.
True. Yeah. Sign me up.
Yeah, I know, right? Shit, I could do that.
Yeah.
Is there anything interesting you're watching for the next 2 days, Thursday, Friday?
Man, unfortunately, I have to travel Friday, so I will be only at the desk tomorrow morning. However, we will both be in Spartan Stocks chat tomorrow morning. I know you'll be there Friday as well. So if any of you guys want to come hang out with the Under PDT Guru in the chat, see how we trade, see that some of the information we post, that's where we'll be.
Oh yeah, that's totally free, by the way. Unlike our guest today, that is entirely free. There is a little application process that we put in there, so like basically spam can't get in because we actually have 100 YouTube subscribers now, so like we actually have some people who sort of like us. So when we get trolls, which I can't wait for, we're trying to keep them out. But that's totally free. You guys are welcome to come in. You could chat with us, and we'll be in there. And hopefully you don't jinx our good run of trading here.
Yep. But I think tomorrow, I mean, right off the top of the bat right now, Tesla is the main focus for me tomorrow.
Totally agreed. That is the absolute best place for people to put their attention, unless a really great microcap pops up.
Yeah, unless that NAUH did pop up today as an education stock, and I was like, okay, so what's the deal here? So when the market tanks, everybody decides they're going to go back to school, and education stocks run. Is that what's going on?
Another one, LRN. I mean, don't be wrong. I didn't look into them at all.
That.
But yeah, they were up EPS and they sat back. And that's actually a short I missed. I could comment on that. They were also one. I watched 20-minute pivots as one of my technical indicators, particularly for stuff a little later in the day. That is one I watched it happen. I watched it work, and I did nothing about it.
So are we going to be looking at the most overly educated population and most in-depth population ever?
Oh, man. Is it going to be one of those things where like the previous generation was undereducated and then the next generation has to be overeducated to compensate for them?
I don't know. I bet they'll have more debt.
Yeah. We'll see how this all pans out. But, man, we've been rambling on here for a little while.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, we appreciate it. We appreciate everyone staying to the end. We're going to be looking out for those responses about who our Furu, our guest that Furu was.
Man, I was going to say, I've still got koi fish on the brain. You're kind of rotting me.
I don't think I'm going to be able to stop thinking about koi fish after that. And the inflection of that voice, I'll put it out there, A+ performance.
Yeah.
But anyways, with that said, guys, reach out to us. Someone needs to give us some feedback that's bad. When people have been very nice, I think they're like, oh man, look at these two guys trying here. Let's be really nice to them. You could give us some feedback about stuff you want to see done differently, and guest you want on here. We're reaching out to a handful of people. We have some good people lined up. Timing it all is not easy, but we got some good stuff down the pipe for you guys on Thirsty Thursday. Coming up next week with JM.
Yep. All right, guys, take care.